Today, I want to talk to you about something very important. The things you should never accept from anyone. These are the things that can hold you back from living the life you truly desire, and it's time to shed light on them. Let's take a closer look at the first thing on our list, which is to never accept limitations on your potential. It's important to understand that you are capable of achieving more than you may realize. Sometimes, society, family, or even our own thoughts can make us feel like we're not good enough or that we don't have what it takes to succeed. But the truth is, those limitations are just illusions. You have the power to create the life you want, regardless of what anyone else says. You have unique talents, strengths, and abilities that make you capable of achieving greatness. It's important to believe in yourself and to reject any beliefs that hold you back. So how do you overcome these limitations and unlock your full potential? It starts with changing your mindset. Instead of focusing on what you can't do, focus on what you can do. Challenge yourself to step outside of your comfort zone and try new things. Believe in your abilities and trust that you have what it takes to succeed. Let's take a closer look at the second thing on our list, which is to never accept negativity from others. Negative energy can have a big impact on how we feel and how we see the world around us. It can bring us down and make it harder for us to stay positive. Whether it's coming from friends, family, or colleagues, it's important to be aware of the negativity around us and to protect ourselves from it. Negative people can drain our energy and make it harder for us to reach our goals. But here's the good news. We have the power to choose who we allow into our lives. We can surround ourselves with people who uplift and inspire us rather than drag us down. We can choose to spend time with friends who make us laugh, family members who support us, and colleagues who encourage us to be our best selves. Surrounding ourselves with positivity isn't always easy, but it's worth it. When we're surrounded by people who believe in us and who want to see us succeed, it's easier for us to stay positive and to keep moving forward. These people can lift us up when we're feeling down and help us see the good in ourselves and in the world around us. So how do we surround ourselves with positivity? It starts by being intentional about the people we spend time with. Pay attention to how you feel when you're around certain people. Do they lift you up or bring you down? If someone is constantly negative or critical, it may be time to distance yourself from them. Instead, seek out relationships that bring out the best in you. Look for friends who support your goals and dreams, family members who encourage you to be your authentic self, and colleagues who inspire you to reach new heights. These are the people who will help you stay positive and motivated, even when times get tough. Let's take a closer look at the third thing on our list, which is to never accept fear as a guiding force. Fear is a feeling we all experience from time to time. It's a natural emotion that can serve as a warning sign in dangerous situations, but it should never control our lives. Too often, fear holds us back from reaching our full potential. It whispers doubts in our ears and convinces us that we're not capable of achieving our goals. It tells us to play it safe, to stick with what we know, and to avoid taking risks. But the truth is, if we let fear dictate our actions, we'll never truly live up to our potential. Instead of letting fear hold us back, we should use it as a catalyst for change. When we feel afraid, it's a sign that we're stepping outside of our comfort zone, and that's where growth and transformation happen. It's okay to feel scared, but it's not okay to let that fear stop us from pursuing our dreams. So how do we push past our fears and embrace change? The first step is to acknowledge our fears and understand where they're coming from. Are we afraid of failure, of rejection, of the unknown? Once we identify our fears, we can begin to confront them head on. Next, we need to challenge the negative thoughts and beliefs that fuel our fears. Instead of dwelling on all the things that could go wrong, focus on the potential rewards and opportunities that lie ahead. Visualize success and imagine how it would feel to overcome your fears and achieve your goals. The fourth thing is to never accept mediocrity in yourself or others. You are capable of greatness, and settling for anything less is selling yourself short. Don't be afraid to push yourself out of your comfort zone and strive for excellence in everything you do. And don't settle for relationships or situations that don't bring out the best in you. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to be better and support you in reaching your full potential. Let's delve deeper into why it's crucial to avoid settling for mediocrity, both in yourself and those around you. Mediocrity means just being average or ordinary, and that's not what you're meant for. You have the potential to achieve greatness, and it's vital to aim for that in all aspects of your life. Firstly, believe in yourself and your abilities. You have unique talents and strengths that can lead you to success, but you must have confidence in yourself to unlock them. Settling for mediocrity means not fully realizing your potential, and that's not fair to yourself. Instead, strive to excel in everything you do, whether it's at work, in relationships, or pursuing your passions. To achieve greatness, you must be willing to step out of your comfort zone. Growth and progress occur when you challenge yourself and take risks. Don't let fear hold you back from pursuing your dreams or trying new things. Embrace discomfort as a sign of growth and push yourself to go beyond what you think is possible. The fifth thing is to never accept a lack of self-love and self-care. You are worthy of love and respect, and it starts with loving yourself. Take the time to prioritize self-care and nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Practice gratitude, forgiveness, and compassion towards yourself, and watch how it transforms your life. Let's dive deeper into this crucial aspect of self-love and self-care. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of everyday life, forgetting to take care of the most important person, yourself. Firstly, it's essential to recognize your own worth. You are a unique individual, deserving of love and respect just as much as anyone else. You are valuable just as you are, with all your strengths and weaknesses. Embrace yourself fully and accept yourself for who you are. But self-love goes beyond just recognizing your worth. It involves actively loving and caring for yourself, both physically and emotionally. This means taking the time to prioritize your well-being and happiness. Start by nurturing your mind. Engage in activities that stimulate your intellect and bring you joy. Whether it's reading a book, learning something new, or practicing mindfulness, find what works for you and make it a priority. Next, take care of your body. Treat it with kindness and respect by nourishing it with healthy food, staying hydrated, and getting enough rest. Regular exercise is also essential for both physical health and mental well-being. Find activities that you enjoy and make them a regular part of your routine. Finally, nourish your spirit. This can mean different things to different people, whether it's through prayer, meditation, spending time in nature, or engaging in creative pursuits. Connect with your inner self and find ways to cultivate a sense of peace and fulfillment. You have the power to shape your reality and create the life you desire. By refusing to accept limitations, negativity, fear, mediocrity, and a lack of self-love, you can step into your true potential and live a life of fulfillment and joy. The same behaviors create the same experiences, and the same experiences produce the same emotions. And those very same emotions drive the very same thoughts. And your biology, your neurocircuitry, your neurochemistry, your neurohormones, and even your genetic expression is equal to how you think, how you act, and how you feel. And how you think, how you act, and how you feel is called your personality. And your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. So then if you wanted to create a new personal reality, a new life, then you would have to start thinking about what you've been thinking about and change it. You would have to become aware of your unconscious thoughts and observe them. You would have to pay attention to your automatic habits and behaviors and modify them. And you would have to look at the emotions you live by every single day that are connected to your past and decide if those emotions belong in your future. You see, most people try to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. You literally have to become someone else. And you are here this week to learn vital information about creating a future and be defined by a vision of the future instead of the memories of the past. Because if you are not defined by some vision that is bigger than you and you are not passionate about that vision, then you are left with the old hardware of the past in your brain and you will be predictable in your life. So would you agree then? New thoughts, new information should lead to new choices. New choices should lead to new behaviors. And new behaviors should create new experiences. And new experiences should produce new emotions. And those new emotions should drive new thoughts. And that's called evolution. So if your brain is a record of the past and you don't have a vision of the future, then you are living in the past. And you will never arrive at that new future. Now there's another potential for you to exist free from the chains of the old self. That potential exists right now. And I want you to teach your body emotionally what it would feel like so that it begins to believe it's in the actual experience of freedom. Let your body feel freedom so that it thinks it's in the experience. And I want you to sit in your body emotionally to feel the joy of how you would feel. So the body begins to be in a future potential now, emotionally. And there's a potential for you to have all your needs met and be wealthy. And I want you to instruct your body to experience wealth and the joy of riches ahead of the actual events. So your body thinks it's in the experience. If you feel it, your body thinks it's in the experience. It doesn't know the difference. Now there's a potential in the field for a genius mind, quicksilver thoughts, insights that take you to new horizons. And the electricity that's created from an open mind, teach your body emotionally the joy and the inspiration of what that would feel like, so the body begins to experience your genius and think that it's in the event now. And there's a possibility existing simultaneously in the quantum field of the vitality of a new life, rich with opportunity, an awe for adventure, and a sense of unbelievability where you feel like you're in a dream. There's a potential in the quantum field that all your prayers are answered. That possibility finds you, that its prayers are being answered. It has always seemed bigger than me because I've given it so much of my attention and so much of my energy. It is bigger than me. But when I no longer pay attention to it, just like not giving my power to it, now I can settle myself back into the present moment. And it's just the thought. And I examine that thought, I look at it, and I become very familiar and conscious of it. And then my brain will say, well, what about this? You did this wrong. It's too late. Give up. And then I address that thought. Now here's my question. 45 minutes of doing battle with your personality and continuously choosing love and unfolding deeper into it. If you make the effort to disinvest your attention and energy out of Goliath and pull energy back to you, but the next meditation that you have could be the easiest meditation for you to connect. Is it possible? So then that had to come up for you in order for you to evolve through it. Yes or no? And your body is just saying, look, I'd rather be worrying about my taxes than connect to the divine. Yes or no? There's a book that was one of my favorite books I ever read. It's called The Red Lion. And The Red Lion is a great story of an initiate that murders an alchemist and drinks the philosopher's stone drinks, the Red Lion, the elixir of life that causes immortality. And he wasn't ready to drink this philosopher's stone. He wasn't of the right consciousness. And when he drank it, he never forgot any of his lifetimes, and he saw all his demons. And this book is this journey of this soul through different levels of every single lifetime you can imagine that you and I can relate to. And he runs into a secret society, and he becomes initiated. And there's a chapter in The Red Lion called The Kilkyard. And I asked my children to read that chapter every year. Every year they have to read that chapter because the initiate sits down in front of a statue, an inanimate statue, and his job is to animate that statue and bring it to life. Are you with me? And for years, he wakes up in the morning, makes his tea, has his breakfast, and then all day he's putting his life force and his energy into animating this particular statue. And after years, he notices it swallows. He notices it moving its finger. And the moment he starts to realize that he could take something inanimate and bring it to life, he gives it more of his attention and energy. You with me still? Until it is a walking, talking being. As we begin to create more coherence in the brain, more coherence in the heart, you're creating a very profound laser, a Wi-Fi signal that can allow you to read information. Can't read it if you're separate. You can't read it if your brain's incoherent. You can't read it if your heart's incoherent. And so the more coherence and order you have, the more the experience gets enriched, because you can't read that information unless you're ready for it. That's the point. So as people start getting through this and they start having very profound moments, and they're now opening their heart, and they can sustain heart coherence, and they know how to create brain coherence, that's the formula. And now they have a laser. They have coherent light and information that can read information that exists beyond the senses. And the pineal gland, once activated, will transduce it into profound imagery. Whether you see with your eyes open or your eyes closed, it doesn't matter, because it's more real than anything you've ever experienced. Let's have a small pause here. It's the next part. Dr. Joe is going to talk about his research about the 4 states of matter. Listen carefully. This is very important. And so I started researching, and I found that there's 4 states of matter. There's solids, there's liquids, there's gases, and the biggest, most abundant form of matter, what's called plasma. And plasma is when you have a negative charge and a positive charge, and they haven't formed an atom yet. So if you have a negative charge and a positive charge, then you're going to have an electrical current running between the two and a field around that current. And the universe really, stars connect through plasma. Everything connects through plasma. So when you start seeing these complex patterns, it's an impression from that plasma that's being pressed into 3-dimensional reality. And so if you take 3 stones, right, and you drop them at the same time into a plate, and you freeze the water in the plate, and those 3 stones fall, and they start producing concentric rings, and they start interfering with each other, you're starting to get complex pattern of interference. So vibrational match, all of a sudden your energy's at that point, and there's a door. And now you're going to get somebody who's going to, in your state of emotional freedom, in your state of your bliss or ecstasy or whatever it is, there's a perfect opportunity for a being that's vibrating at a similar frequency to begin to influence a person's future. But by the same means, if you can't get to that point and you're stuck, well, then there are beings that love to feed off emotions and feed off energy. And I've seen those too, because when a person finally gets beyond their suffering or whatever, they no longer can host on that person because they're no longer that emotion, that energy any longer. So then all of a sudden the person experiences a tremendous amount of freedom as well. And yeah, of course, now they're setting themselves up for something else. What I do know, though, is that our intention really is to connect to the divine. Our intention is to become divine. Our intention is to open our hearts and trust again, to love again. Our intention is to teach our bodies emotionally what our future could feel like, to trade guilt and shame and resentment and jealousy and envy and competition for love. And we practice that in our week-long events. And once this center begins to open up, we're after coherence. So if you have a coherent heart and you're able to manage that and sustain the heart coherence, the field around your body begins to expand up to 3 meters wide. And that frequency, that coherent frequency, is like a Wi-Fi signal. You got a signal now, and at the same time, once energy makes it to the heart and it goes to the brain, and you teach a person how to create a coherent brain and be able to suppress the mechanism of the thinking neocortex, the memory bank of the known self, teach a person how to operate from their limbic brain and tune that pineal gland into frequency and allow that pineal gland to lock into a frequency. Now you have a Wi-Fi signal as well, and it can read information. And these beings, I was doing this event in Florida, in Amelia Island. It was an advanced event, advanced follow-up, and this is people that have done advanced workshops. And the event was called Dreamtime, that were up from 11 at night till 8 in the morning for the mystical. And if you don't want to do the mystical, don't come. But I'm going to be messing with your sleep, and I stay up the entire night. I'm watching the entire audience, and we're keeping them between worlds, between wakefulness and sleep in that theta realm. And many people have very profound transcendental experiences while we're doing it. And I was trying to think of a way to explain this to the audience, and I had just finished the morning. I hadn't done my meditation, so I went into my room, I sat up, I did my meditation, and then I laid down. And when I laid down, all of a sudden, I see this beautiful fractal pattern with my eyes closed in the room. And the moment I see that fractal pattern, I know that that's order. That's information, a packet, a standing wave of information. And I sense it. I see it with my eyes closed. And then it unfolds like it rolls out on this beautiful being standing right next to me. And I'm sitting there with my eyes closed, and I say, oh shit, like holy, like whoa, and I hear it laugh. And it sounds like a symphony, like a harmony. In fifth dimensional creation, you are not going anywhere to get anything. Fifth dimensional creation has nothing to do with going anywhere to get anything. Because if you combine a clear intention, a coherent thought, coherent brainwave pattern, with a coherent heart, moving into that elevated emotion, thoughts are electric and feelings are magnetic. The magnetism of this center becomes the energy. The intention is carried on that energy, and now you are broadcasting a new signature into the quantum field. Now, if it's done properly, and you understand the mechanics, in fifth dimensional creation, you are not going anywhere to get anything. You are actually collapsing space and time. And you are drawing the experience to you. You are the vortex. Because when there's a vibrational match between your energy and that potential that exists in the quantum field, by tuning a radio dial, when you lock into that frequency, if you keep revisiting that energetic signature over again every single day, then you don't have to go anywhere and get it. The new job finds you. The new house actually finds you. The new relationship finds you, because you are the vortex that's drawing the experience to you. My definition of creation is when I forget about me. I become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, and no time. I become pure consciousness. And the moment I reach that elegant moment of the generous present moment, all possibilities in the quantum field exist truly when our brain and body are in the present moment. Getting there is the work. So then most people then create reality from what we call three-dimensional creation. Now, when you teach people how to take their attention off of matter, off of objects, off of a particle, and sense energy and sense space and pay attention to nothing, the moment they begin to open their focus, all of a sudden, their brain waves begin to change from beta to alpha. But not only just alpha, where the imaginary inner world starts to become more real, but very coherent brainwave patterns in alpha. So when you're under stress, you're trying to control that person, that thing that you're experiencing, your attention is shifting from one thing to the next. Turns out that each one of those things has a neurological network in the brain assigned to it because we've experienced it. So as you try to control all these things and your attention is shifting, you measure the brain. There's no coherency. The brain is very incoherent. Why is it important to have coherency? Well, because the moment you open your focus and the brain begins to acclimate, different compartments of the brain begin to unify. They begin to synchronize, and what syncs in the brain links in the brain. So when your brain is coherent, you're coherent. When your brain is incoherent, you are incoherent. The person, the maverick, who's willing to step out into the unknown, that unknown is the perfect place to create from. Because only in the unknown can you create something new. And if you and I can become comfortable in that unknown place, then the best way to predict the future is to create it from that unknown place. Now, when people start crossing the river of change from the old self to the new self, because they're no longer thinking, acting, and feeling in the same way, there is literally a biological, a neurological, a genetic, a chemical death of the old self. And this dark night of the soul, this unfamiliar place, is the true value, the true step towards developing a new self. And your biology, your neurocircuitry, your neurochemistry, your neurohormones, and even your genetic expression is equal to how you think, how you act, and how you feel. And how you think, how you act, and how you feel is called your personality, and your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. So then, if you wanted to create a new personal reality, a new life, then you would have to start thinking about what you've been thinking about and change it. You would have to become aware of your unconscious thoughts and observe them. You would have to pay attention to your automatic habits and behaviors and modify them. And you would have to look at the emotions you live by every single day that are connected to your past and decide if those emotions belong in your future. You see, most people try to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. You literally have to become someone else. And you are here this week to learn vital information about creating a future and be defined by a vision of the future instead of the memories of the past. Because if you are not defined by some vision that is bigger than you and you are not passionate about that vision, then you are left with the old hardware of the past in your brain and you will be predictable in your life. So would you agree then? New thoughts, new information should lead to new choices. New choices should lead to new behaviors, and new behaviors should create new experiences, and new experiences should produce new emotions, and those new emotions should drive new thoughts. And that's called evolution. So if your brain is a record of the past and you don't have a vision of the future, then you are living in the past. And you will never arrive at that new future. Now there's another potential for you to exist free from the chains of the old self. That potential exists right now. And I want you to teach your body emotionally what it would feel like so that it begins to believe it's in the actual experience of freedom. Let your body feel freedom so that it thinks it's in the experience. And I want you to sit in your body emotionally to feel the joy of how you would feel. So the body begins to be in a future potential now emotionally, and there's a potential for you to have all your needs met and be wealthy. And I want you to instruct your body to experience wealth and the joy of riches ahead of the actual events, so your body thinks it's in the experience. If you feel it, your body thinks it's in the experience. It doesn't know the difference. Now there's a potential in the field for a genius mind, quicksilver thoughts, insights that take you to new horizons. Now where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So you want that energy to move right to the top of your head. So then as you inhale, you bring that energy all the way up to the top. You keep following your breath. You lock all the way to the top. When you get to the top, now you hold your breath. And when you hold your breath, you contract those intrinsic muscles and you begin to lift those muscles up and you begin to compress those muscles and you begin to push that cerebral spinal fluid up into your brain. So then why do I ask you to inhale and hold your breath? Now this isn't inhaling and turning purple and pushing. If you're doing that, you're doing it wrong. It's a slow, steady breath, and you follow that breath all the way to the top, either to the top of your head, or you put your awareness on where that pineal gland is between the back of your throat and the back of your head. Now, when you inhale, that inhalation is very slow and very steady. It's not a big inhalation and pushing. It's a slow, steady breath, and you're contracting these muscles and coordinating it, and you're following your breath all the way to the top of your head. And when you get to the top of your head, I'm going to ask you to inhale a little bit more. And as you pull up, you're going to lock these muscles down even further, and you're lifting them up. Once you lift them up and you have your attention either on the top of your head or the space that your pineal gland occupies in space, I'm going to ask you to lock those muscles down and pump, squeeze, or push. And I want you to push that fluid up into your brain by squeezing the muscles. Not by holding your breath harder, but by squeezing those muscles. I want you to begin to pump that fluid and begin to compress up against your pineal gland. When you do this breath, you have to demonstrate a will that's greater than any program. You have to find a level of intensity or a level of passion that's greater than the body as the mind or any addiction to any emotion. You have to be inspiration, the movement of energy. Don't be afraid of it. Just surrender into it. For some people, their body will do unusual things. That's information trying to be integrated into it. Don't be afraid of it. Just surrender into it. If your body does weird things, more than likely that's energy moving to your brain. If you have a lapse of consciousness or you all of a sudden find yourself on the ground, that's energy moving into your brain. It's happened to me numerous times. It's a sign that you're getting close or at least doing it correctly. Now, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So you want that energy to move right to the top of your head. Inspiration, the movement of energy. You have to find a level of intensity or a level of passion that's greater than the body as the mind or any addiction to any emotion. Don't be afraid of it. Just surrender into it. On a Sunday morning while she was in the shower, her husband said goodbye to his 2 children, yelled something to her while she was in the shower, and then went to the tallest building in Amsterdam and jumped off the building and committed suicide. Now that is a stressful event, and when she got the news, she experienced all the emotions that people experience from something that's shocking and traumatic like that. She was suffering, she was in pain, she was resentful, she was guilty, she was confused, she was angry. She went through the whole gamut of emotions, and all of those emotions, by the way, are derived from the hormones of stress. So she has an event in her life. It changes her biologically. She doesn't know how to control her emotional reaction. It turns into a mood, one long emotional reaction. If you keep reviewing that event in your mind, you begin to produce the same chemistry in your brain and body as if the event was occurring. So her body is being conditioned to the past because she's reliving the experience 50 to 100 times in a day, and her body is beginning to believe it's in the same past experience over and over again. It ultimately goes from a mood to a temperament, and now people are asking her in her life, "Why are you so upset?" She tells the story, and she's basically saying, "I am this way because of this event that happened to me 4 months ago."